Welcome to Sinister Studies. My name is Kim, and I'm joined each week by my kiddo Ben, where we'll discuss all things sinister up to and including high school. As with all things sinister, listener discretion is always advised. I don't know if Sebastian will join us today, but we have Piper here. Piper may have disillusioned poor Sebastian the other day, and now he's scared.
Oh, poor Sebastian.
Every day we're getting a tiny bit better and a tiny bit better because these bitches decided to fight over a closed bag of dog food in front of the baby. Baby is traumatized.
The baby's traumatized. He really is. Oh.
Scared of the girls.
Used to be.
Except Zoe gave him a kiss yesterday, so now he's slightly better.
Oh, bless you. I don't know if you guys heard that shit, but she just sneezed. She just, bless you, baby girl. Hi. Mwah. Oh, you're so pretty. You still kind of got blood on your face, girl. Anyway.
Yeah. It wasn't as bad as it's been. I was able to separate them pretty quickly and without getting bit. So there's that. Yay!
Yay. Oh.
What?
I'm scared.
About being an adult?
Yes. Yeah. I'm having a...
Bean is touring his first college today. It is his first choice.
I was hearing those numbers and I was like, I'm gonna be the disappointment. And maybe he won't be disappointed in me, but Dad definitely will be.
No, he won't.
Yes, I do believe he will. He started chastising Helena on her career choice. That's not even your child.
He is very against liberal arts degrees.
Okay, well, I just want to get a degree then.
I don't know. I did get. Maybe I'll send it to you. I did get a college admission that they don't have strict majors where they can work with you and take different things that you're interested in and merge them into an appropriate career.
That's weird. How does that work? Do you get a degree? I'm confused.
You do get a degree.
No, but in what?
They have all sorts of stuff up there.
Where?
I'll send it to you.
Hey, baby girl.
Nobody needs to know where we're looking at colleges.
Yeah, that's fair. Piper.
It does not have an engineering program, which is why I didn't really do much with it. I did send you another one too.
The Salem one? Spooky toys.
We can go do spooky tours. You want to go do a college tour? We'll do a spooky tour.
Where is
Pippa cannot come camping.
Oh, why not?
For a couple of days at a time. Because Zoe might get despondent not having her pack mate with her, and vice versa. And then Sebastian may get despondent not having his bitches, even though they're fighting right now.
Because Piper is truly
she's the definition of codependent.
Yeah. She's codependent with Zoe. She's codependent with you. She's codependent with everybody. She's codependent with the cat. I mean, Zoe's kind of chilling. I think Zoe would be fine. But I feel like you could take Zoe.
She would chew a lot. She would be stressed. She would chew a lot.
I feel like you could take Zoe, but you could not take Piper.
Is there a crow out there? Do you hear her?
Yeah.
I don't see church people. Why are you so... Oh, there is a crow. It's on top of that building. I don't think it's mocking you from there. I was thinking about getting a baby air fryer for the camper.
A baby air fryer?
Yeah. Because what if it rains? I'm not going to want to cook outside. I don't have an oven. I have a stove. I don't have an oven. It's entirely possible that it rains while I'm gone.
Yay.
Got Sebastian there. We can use the shower.
Yay.
Although
So we have to take a fucking trek to...
The bathrooms in that campground are pretty nice. I felt they were the best bathrooms.
Yeah. We're fine.
I've been to this. Oh,
yeah. It had double curtains.
Yes.
And that's like an improvement. Although there was a kid, I was showering in there last time we went, and there was a kid, I swear to God, going around like ripping all our curtains open. So I was literally holding like the interior curtain like shut like for like 10 minutes because I could just hear this kid like running around in circles in there, and I'm literally like curtain balled in my fists, like holding my hands to the wall, like no.
I do want. I do want to go. Salem, not Salem. I do want to go. Salem's almost 2 hours away from there. I do want to go to Starburst. They're gonna have their Halloween stuff up. They're gonna have the cider press going.
They're gonna have what?
The cider press.
I don't know what that is.
It's used to make apple cider.
Oh.
They have some other stuff going on.
Crazy.
Be some exciting stuff. It's just spooky season. Yay.
Yay.
Yay. Although sadly we went to the store after we last recorded and the fucking fall stuff was already on clearance. So that was ridiculous.
Yeah. We hit up Walmart and there was Halloween decorations, fall decorations, and clearance. Like,
slow your roll.
Christmas stuff already out.
Yeah.
In some aisles. Like,
It would get a Walmart though. So. At least they brought up from Walmart. Although we did just
meow.
That was a very pitiful meow. It was very sad meow.
Meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. I saw a video, Logan sent me a video of Billie Eilish at her concert singing that song, and people in the crowd were going, instead of the actual lyrics, meow, 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 meow.
Oh my God.
Like, to the point where you could hear it in the video. Like, I saw, like, half the crowd was meowing.
Can you imagine what Billie Eilish must think? It's hilarious, but at the same time, that's like her artwork. Oh. Yeah, we're going to continue.
Honestly, if I was Billie Eilish, I'd be laughing my ass off.
We will start discussing the Salem Witch Trials, which, as we said last, are directly related to the Swedish witch trials in their bizarre beliefs and whatnot. Yeah. She's on a mission. So we have a condensed history lesson, real quick. So, at that time in American history, there was obviously no solid United States at this point. They're just angry colonists.
All we know is that we hate the British.
The Reformation had
even though we kind of are the British.
Started, happened in, was not only political, but religious upheaval. of Martin Luther's movement against the Catholic and the separation of England from the Catholic Church, a new group began believing that the separation just wasn't extreme enough. Known as Puritans, for their, quotes, pure religious beliefs, believed in predestination, which means that the fate of your soul, saved or damned, was predetermined by God prior to your birth.
That kind of sucks. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you spend your whole life and you're like a super great person, and it's like, oh,
and you just go to hell anyway.
Yeah, like what? That doesn't seem very fair.
No, it really doesn't. And I'm thinking a lot of these people that thought they were going to heaven totally went to hell.
I mean, because I guess some of them probably figured we can do whatever we want. Because it doesn't matter.
Predetermined. They also believe that humans were born sinners and only through faith, discipline, and hard work could one be saved. They had very strict morals and routinely punished people for excessive drinking, swearing, gossiping, and laziness.
Is swearing like a sin in the Bible? Does the Bible say swearing is bad?
I think their definition for swearing then was very different than us. There's no rules against swearing. It's just morally reprehensible according
to say fuck. Like,
okay. They didn't say fuck back then.
I don't care because this is something I've been thinking for literal years. Like, for literal years, I was in my single digits. I was like, what the fuck even is a swear? Like, we just made that shit up.
No, and a lot of the things that are swears now didn't start as swears. They just evolved as the meaning of the word slowly evolved with our society.
Like, we literally just made that up. And then we decided it was bad.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not. Like, it's just a word.
Yeah.
And then somebody was like, this is bad. We can't say that anymore.
I don't like this word.
And now it's like a problem?
Yes, true. Very true.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, and the Puritans also didn't celebrate Christmas.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't know why. Personally, I don't care why they didn't celebrate Christmas. They're just very, very repressed.
They're really boring.
Society. Yes, they work and go to church. And...
Why didn't Puritans celebrate Christmas? That threatened Christian beliefs and encouraged immoral activity?
You know what it is? It's because the traditions of Christmas,
the supposed pagan origins.
Yes. Exactly.
They also believed that Christmas celebrations were unnecessary and distracted from religious discipline. It's never that serious, guys. I don't know if there are still Puritans on this planet, and if they are, they're definitely not listening. Puritans in this sense.
They're not listening to us.
They're definitely not listening, but like, guys, it's never that serious. I promise you. It's okay. You'll be fine.
So, the original Puritans believed that they were destined to continue the reform of the Church of England, as you can imagine, went over like a fart in church. And the Puritans were harassed and punished for not following the teachings of the Church of England.
She said in the script?
Yes.
Like a fart in
church. It seemed appropriate. Because when you think about it, the reason why Henry VIII split with the Catholic Church is because he wanted to do morally reprehensible things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I can understand why the English Church didn't care for the Puritans. So following the
sorry, now that I'm thinking about Henry VIII.
That's a whole nother subject. I'm sure that will be a subject at some point.
And now I'm thinking about the musical Six, about his
No, I've never seen the musical. I know everyone's aware that I am not a musical person.
Oh my god, it's like, it's a little saucy, because why not?
Henry VIII was a hoe.
Yeah. And, okay, we might have to cut this, but you know how there was the thing where, there's, like, sophomores get to see like a thing at PPAC. Went to see Six like a year or two ago. Nobody knew what they were getting themselves into, and then yeah.
Did they not do their due diligence in that? I mean, I guess when you're sophomores at that point,
there's like this. I don't know. I only really know one of the songs, but it's like actually bizarre.
I feel like most musical songs are slightly bizarre. But yeah.
No, but like pedophilia type bizarre.
Well, the definition of the age of majority was a little different back then.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, following the Pilgrims, wanted to be neither be affiliated with the Church of England or the Catholic Church, the Puritans ventured across the Atlantic to avoid persecution and to create their own communities. And in 1688, England and France were at it again, but since both countries had begun colonizing in the Americas, their fight was no longer just a European problem. Their fight spanned across the Atlantic, pitting the French and English settlements against each other, which would add an additional layer of danger to life in the Americas. In 1692, the King William's War was well underway. The people in the small Puritan community of Salem pretty much lived in fear. They lived in fear of illness, in fear of the French, in fear of the vast wilderness which surrounded them, in fear of the unknown. And some of their population had moved further away from Salem Village and established Salem Town, which was located about 5 miles away from the original settlement. 5 miles is nothing to us now, but back then it was a long, treacherous journey, which eventually would cause the more affluent, more coastal Salem Town to completely separate from Salem Village due to logistical and financial reasonings. Fast forward, and Salem Village would become Danvers, and Salem Town would just say Salem.
Speaking of religious things that these people definitely wouldn't like, Braylon, friend of the show, just snapped me saying, I wonder how the Catholics would feel knowing that today my Episcopal priest gave a sermon saying that Adam and Eve did not actually exist, and that the first person in the world was probably androgynous and like would not have been a man or a woman. And low-key, they're cooking, because if if they're the first person in the world, there's no societal concept of gender, and if there's the first person in the world, there's technically no concept of sex either. So if they're the first person, so like, what do you compare it to? Like, if there's nobody else, then how do you know?
Yeah.
Like, if there's
the whole origins of
like
the universe,
like sex wouldn't exist yet because there'd only be one like
person.
There'd only be one.
Yeah. No, that's true. I can see that.
Priest was kind of cooking. Shout out to the unnamed Episcopal priest.
So there was also the small matter that Massachusetts Bay Colony had their charter revoked by the Crown. So legally speaking, they were in a super gray area with little in terms of protection. And with a fear-filled yet rural and tedious existence, people were all up in each other's business.
I mean, what better is there to do?
Regardless of their relationship with others in their community, gossip was rife, and because for fuck's sake, what else were they going to do, especially during the winter times when things were darker and bleaker?
Not minding your business is like the thing to do in areas.
Yeah, they did not mind their business. They were all up in each other's shit.
Especially back then, it's like, what do you even have to do? But then they also don't have like Facebook groups to like be really in each other's business on.
No, they didn't. But one neighbor would hear from this neighbor, which would tell the other neighbor, and so on and so forth until things got out of hand fast, as we shall see. So these were the events that were swirling around the colonies in January of 1692.
1692.
So that January, Betty Parrish, who was daughter of the minister Samuel Parrish, and her cousin Abigail Williams suddenly became very ill. This illness included bouts of screaming, bodily contortions, violent temper tantrums, if you will. The Parrish family would
continue.
The Parrish family would then decide that fasting and prayer were the best course of action, as well as what passed for home remedies at the time. When the girls showed no signs of improvement by February, they called in the town doctor, William Griggs. Griggs failed to find a physical cause for the girls' malady, so he diagnosed them with none other than bewitchment.
Oh, no.
It wasn't because they were bored and trying to create some drama in their lives.
Imagine, like, it's back then and, like, the doctors don't know what's wrong with you, so they just say you've been bewitched. Like, somebody cast a spell on you.
Obviously, everyone heard about the Parrish family troubles, so their neighbor, Mary Silvey, suggested that they do what would be considered counter-magic, which were rituals to ward off evil witchcraft. And that was,
so they did witchcraft?
Yes, and that wasn't actually all that unusual for the time.
They did witchcraft to evoke the witchcraft?
Correct.
That's...
Sylvie gave the instructions for making a disgusting concoction called a witch cake. She gave these instructions to the Parrish family slaves, Tituba
I forgot that was a thing back then. I was like,
Tituba and her husband, John Indian. This ritual...
why did they give it to the slaves?
So the slaves could make it. The ritual called for the afflicted girls' urine to be mixed in with rye
I thought they
meal.
were trying to, like, get the slaves to eat it. And I'd be like,
no.
What the fuck? That seems like...
Actual humans don't eat this.
What?
The afflicted girls' urine would be mixed with a rye meal and cooked over hot ashes, after which it would be fed to the dog.
To the dog? Oh, no, don't subject the dog to this shit.
The end result being that hopefully this fucked up baking experiment would harm the witches involved, thus curing the girls.
That's poor dogs.
Right?
Oh my god.
They eat some weird shit, but you shouldn't be forcing them to do it. Like,
if they want to eat weird shit, they can do that of their own volition.
I'm sure you're really surprised to hear that the witch cake didn't work.
Oh my god, crazy.
While waiting for the cure to take hold, two more adolescents, Ann Putnam Jr. and Elizabeth Hubbard, also became bewitched, and they started relaying tales of apparitions and saying that they were attacked by specters, and all four agreed with these statements. They were under spiritual and bodily attack by witches, and within days, they were able to provide names of the witches. Because they weren't all chilling together, nothing.
I don't know.
So they would name Sarah Good, a 40-ish-year-old woman who had fallen on hard times and often relied on the kindness of others to survive, but apparently really care for children unless they were her own. Which, same.
Bitch. Not liking children makes you a witch. I mean,
and then
never mind. Because I don't like children.
They also named Sarah Osborne, who was also in her 40s and who, after her husband died, took over his property.
Oh my god!
And then took on an indentured servant from Ireland, which is slightly better than a slave,
I guess, because then they get to be free after, I guess.
And eventually, she not only paid off his indenture, but married him as well.
Oh, but she literally owned him, low key. I don't know. It's a weird situation, but I'm not saying, I don't know. I'm just saying that's kind of weird.
The girls also...
Like, if a man married his slave, that would be weird. If a woman married her slave, that would be weird.
Technically not a slave, though. He's just
west of a slave. Like,
paid his costs to come over to the Americas.
And then he had to work for her.
Yeah.
She
paid that shit off. He was indentured no more.
I suppose. I don't know.
The things you do for love. They also named none other than Parrish's own slave, Tituba,
who was
Indian, not African, as the tales would lead one to believe, and had been in the Parrish household since she was an adolescent.
Indian or Native American?
Indian.
Okay. I didn't know they did that. Like, I didn't know they were...
If there are people of a different color, the British found a way to enslave them.
Yeah. Yeah. And basically all colonizers, really.
So, Tituba had been in the Parrish household since she was an adolescent, although her precise age is not known. And what do we do with accused witches, we ask? Well, they were imprisoned immediately and then taken to the meeting house, where the accused would be stripped and likely shaved so that they could do a scan of their bodies looking for witches' marks or teats, to which familiars could latch onto. That's, in case we forgot from last week, a familiar is usually some sort of black animal, like a cat or a crow.
It's violating.
Or a snake. These marks could be birthmarks, bruises, scratches, pimples. You kind of get the point.
So literally anything.
Anything. They could be anything remotely cosmetic that was different than on other people's bodies. So if you're one of those peeps that have like a third nipple, if you will, that's a witch's mark.
What if you just like ran into a table or something, you got a bruise right here?
Witch's mark. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, she was a slave.
No, all of them.
No, but like Tituba was a slave. She was probably doing like a lot of labor.
Yeah.
She probably had a lot of bruises.
Probably.
Like if you're running around
doing
they
were all doing a lot of work. Because that's all they fucking did was work and pray.
But like, especially a slave, like these people don't have regard for her safety.
No, they absolutely don't.
So it's like she's probably got bruises everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And you know what? Maybe these people beat her.
Entirely possible.
She could have like scars and shit from being beat or bruises. Like,
yeah, and we also don't. So we don't know what physically happened prior to this because it wasn't, deal, if you will. And then she didn't come to live with them until she was an adolescent. So who knows what happened to her before then that would cause her to maybe have scars and whatnot.
So if you're a woman, you're fucked.
So the woman would also be interrogated for hours by inspectors and clergy alike, and repeatedly asked to say the Lord's Prayer because it is definitely a fact that only a witch would not be able to finish it without error.
Can you finish it without error?
Probably. Maybe. It's been a while. I while writing this, I did was like, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be. I don't think you would know that.
I know like the first half of it. That's it. I don't know the end of it. I don't know how long it is. I think there's an end of it. I don't remember it. I don't know how much I know because I don't really know how much there is. I'm gonna be real.
It's never come up in conversation. So
oh my god.
This was not for the faint of heart, and enduring these ordeals was extremely difficult for the accused. Obviously.
I knew like a third of it.
Okay. So back to the two Sarahs and Tituba. Tituba, who was who had likely been abused for most of her life, pretty much said fuck it immediately and quickly admitted to bewitching the girl, saying that she hadn't meant to harm Betty because she truly loved her. But she did incriminate both Good and Osborne, as well as saying that there were another number of other witches in Salem.
I mean, because at that point, if you're screwed already, you might as well have fun with it.
She chose the best option.
I mean, if you're seen as cooperative, like,
yeah,
also like, I don't know. When you just sit there and you're like, I'm not a witch, and there are no witches. It's like, that's boring.
A lot of them did that. They would rather continually proclaim their innocence rather than admit to something like witchcraft.
I know, because these are the Puritans, but it's like, at that point, you're accused. They already think you're a witch. Might as well have fun. Might as well. I mean, like, you're already fucked. Live for the drama.
No, it's true. So Tituba was remanded into custody and stayed there for the duration of the trials. Now, you and I saw the prison.
Yeah. It sucked.
So you had the Gen Pop, if you will, which was not very big, but would house a dozen or more people at any given time.
Same as on
dirty and dark and disgusting. And then if you were of higher birth and your family could afford it, they paid for you to have a private cell. But even those were gross because they were real small. We're talking shower stall type of small.
Yeah, definitely not fun because they don't care.
No.
You're a witch. You're a witch. She's a witch.
It's disgusting.
They don't deserve very basic living conditions.
No.
Or cleanliness or anything.
After the three were taken into custody, Betty, Abigail, and Elizabeth's conditions seemed to temporarily improve. But Anne did not. She went on to accuse three more women of witchcraft: Martha Corey, an elderly woman on her second marriage, who'd also had an illegitimate child of color.
Her second marriage, an illegitimate child. That's brown.
And to make it worse, they didn't know if it was an African descent or of Native American descent. So that, in their mind, either would be better than the other, because we know it wouldn't be.
Because they hate brown people. They hate black people. They hate brown people. They hate people of
different
all
from them.
Other races and ethnicities. They even hate other white people.
They also accused Dorothy Good, who was the mother of Sarah Good, who was just fucking 4 years old.
4 years old?
And Elizabeth Proctor, who was a middle-aged woman who was also pregnant, whose husband had beef with Reverend Paris, because by all accounts, Paris was greedy and money-hungry when it came to coming to Salem.
But he doesn't like the Reverend, so that means she's a witch?
So yes, so he wanted more than the town could realistically afford. They were going to give him a place to live and land, but he also wanted them to bring firewood all the time, it was a big thing. And a lot of the people were, you have all this land, get your own fucking firewood. And they felt that he was in it for the money and not really for his flock. Not long after, Ann Putnam Jr. said that she saw the specter of an old woman just chilling in her grandmother's chair, and after telling her servant Mercy Lewis about it, she reported that her newest tormentor was elderly Rebecca Nurse, who was a well-regarded member of society, whose husband frequently served as a mediator for the townfolk for area disputes.
So, No matter what you do, you're a witch.
And her detainment would actually cause public outcry because she was an upstanding member of the community. At this point, Mercy would be afflicted just like Anne, and Anne Putnam Sr. would soon claim to be tormented as well. The chaos would snowball quickly. When Elizabeth Proctor was questioned, her servant Mary Warren would testify that the Proctors were skeptical of the proceedings at best. At worst, they were completely against the proceedings. Her sister Sarah Cloyce would be charged as well, and Tituba's husband, John Indian, would claim to be afflicted by the growing witchcraft epidemic himself.
I'm going to be real, I didn't know slaves could be married. Like, could they legally get married?
No, I don't know how they did that. I mean, I'm
or
sure.
Did they just say they were married? Like, did they have slave weddings? Probably not, right?
No, but like if you, I mean, I don't know about at that time, but way back then, they did have like slave celebrations and
did they
gatherings in the South. But this was after everything was well, like established. This was.
I mean, because I know, like slaves would be having kids and stuff. But like, I don't know. Did you like bring your slaves to sign wedding papers? Were wedding papers considered citizens, right?
No.
So, can they get married if they're not citizens?
Oh, I don't know.
Could slaves get married? But their marriages were not legally binding because enslaved people were considered property, not people they could not own property or be part of a contract with marriage, which marriage is. Meant that slave marriages had no legal standing and offered no legal protections. Okay. So they could say they were married.
Yeah.
I mean, what is marriage if not just being like, oh.
Piper, what the fuck are you doing in there?
What is she doing? Because she's been making noise for a while. Girly Pop, what kind of shenanigans are you getting up to? What the fuck is that? Oh, she's just eating a paper towel. Okay. You ate. Oh, it's a tissue. Okay, you ate like a solid half of that, so I'm gonna say that's enough. That's enough for you right now. You had a nice snack.
That's disgusting. Disgusting.
Not a fresh tissue either. Mm-mm.
So John Indian would go on to accuse Elizabeth's husband, John, who was quickly brought in as well. By mid-April, 4 more were accused. Giles Corey, husband of Martha Corey, who had previously been convicted of murdering an indentured servant. Abigail Hobbs, a teenager who had implicated Giles Corey as to being a wizard. Bridget Bishop, who was about 6 years old and on her third marriage to a much younger man.
A third marriage?
Who happened to be a founding member of the church in nearby Beverly. And Mary Warren, who had graduated from afflicted to tormentor. And on May 10th, in a Boston prison, May 10th, 1692, in a Boston prison, Sarah Osborne would become the first victim of the hysteria that had gripped the region. She had died in jail.
R.I.P. Respect.
Increased Mather arrived on the scene with a new charter for Massachusetts, and with the new legal standing the charter brought with it, the governor was then able to create a special court to deal with the witch trials, and Increase's son, Cotton Mather, was consulted on the cases. He did tell the courts that spectral evidence alone should not be used as the only evidence against the accused, but judges know best, and their decision would stand.
She looks really weird right now.
So sad. Time would stand still and everything would stop for months because the Salem witch trials would begin in earnest with a guilty verdict for Bridget Bishop. Why did they start with Bridget Bishop, you ask? Because 12 years earlier, she had been accused of witchcraft.
12 years earlier.
And she would at that time be exonerated. So she had a history of witching it.
Of witching it?
Of witching it. During that...
Do you have a history of witching it? Oh my fucking god! We're trying to record a podcast in here. Do you have a history? A history of witchcraft?
I do have a history of witchcraft.
I too have a history of witching it.
During the 1692 proceedings, she would say, "I am innocent. I know nothing of it. I have done no witchcraft. I am innocent as a child unborn."
Sounds like something a witch would say, am I right?
Right? But multiple people testified that they were subject to the torment of Bridget's specter, and some accusers even flailing about saying that her specter was attacking them right there in the courtroom.
Oh.
She was also accused of making puppets.
I'm sorry, that's embarrassing. Just imagine being in court and somebody just goes, witchcraft. like, imagine being Bridget right there, just being like,
and I bet you there were a lot of people that were like, "Are you serious right now? These are just..."
They're all like looking at each other like, "Are we seeing this right
now?" Bridget was also accused of making puppets and of having a third nipple, which, upon second search of her body, was never found again. 10 days later, she would be hanged on Proctor's Ledge, now known as Gallows Hill, and the hysteria was now fully gripping Salem to the point where the courts were completely ignoring the recommendations of multiple ministers, all of which were not from Salem. The area, whenever there was some sort of moral issue going on in a town, all the area ministers would get together and give their 2 cents on the matter, but Salem chose to ignore all of them. They would again press Salem not to solely rely on spectral evidence against the accused, and they moved forward with a succession of trials, all of which played out exactly the same as Bridget Bishop's, and the executions would commence.
Guys, Piper.
And with that, we will pause. We will reconvene for part 2.
Okay.
Thrilling conclusion of the Salem Witch Trials.
Piper will also be there, probably.
More than likely, yes.
No, she's being so cute right now. Have we ever met beautiful? She's so cute. Guys, she's a baby. She's just a little puppy. How old is she?
5.
She's 5, but she's just a little puppy. She has a she has a little puppy face.
She does. Yes, she does. She's not as innocent as she looks, though.
Pain in all of her asses. Let's be real. Let's be honest. But she's so cute. She's so adorable. Like, adorable is really the only word to describe this dog. Hi.
So, yes, as usual, please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, whatever platform you may listen to us on. Like us, review us.
Subscribe, comment, other such actions. For accusing somebody of being a witch. Pepper has some very strong opinions. Adios.